It all started when information went out to our patrol unit staff. He was moving at a high rate of speed. One of our deputies got behind him, tried to stop him. He right away crashed into a couple cars, took off, made some turns, ran from our deputies. We got up here, we did something called a P.I.T Maneuver, which is a pursuit intervention technique maneuver. Spun him around over there. We came back out of the road and rammed one of our patrol cars back to the dirt. Was coming out a second time at our deputies who were outside the car when two of our deputies fired upon him. The rounds entered the vehicle, struck him, and he died here on scene.
How many times was he struck?
Wow, we don't know that until he comes and looks at him. But each officer fired 2 to 3 rounds, so it could be up to, depends. It'll depend on when the medical examiner gets here to determine how many times he was struck. But the fire department and our deputies got him out and tried to render aid, but he was deceased.
Were there any officers injured?
No. Just a lot of damage to our patrol cars, and there are some minor injuries to some citizens that he hit.
And I noticed nobody did towed out over here, so it's all minor damage been through there?
Yeah. Most of the cars, the citizens' cars were minor damage, and he hit one of our patrol cars and tried to run our deputies down, and that's when they fired upon him, striking him, and he died from the wounds.
So isn't at this point reckless driving?
He was already being called in before we were behind him. We were getting calls that there was a vehicle going 80 miles an hour driving like a madman through traffic without us even behind him. So one of our deputies got behind him, and he just continued to drive that way, clipping cars, and so we don't know what was going on with him. There was going to be something there. We'll figure that out once we get him identified. We don't even know who it is at this point. So once we get him identified, we'll find out what led up to his reckless driving and running from the police officers and 2 or 3 different accidents he caused. So that's yet to be determined. We tentatively believe we know who this is. It's a 30-year-old male who has a felony warrant for assault of a child and has some background. We're pretty sure that's who it is. So from this point, we're working that as the suspect here. Now knowing who he is, we'll be trying to determine what led up to his erratic behavior in driving that started this whole thing.
How did you figure that out?
Well, we ran the license plate, found an owner, did some work, pulled some police reports, and sent somebody the registered address. We're pretty sure we've determined that it is a 30-year-old male who is wanted for assault of a child. We don't know how many shots were fired. Each deputy fired a couple, 3 rounds. That's yet to be determined, which is standard, which we're trained to do. How many actually hit him, we'll have to wait for the medical examiner to tell us.
And he was not armed, as far as we know?
No,
no weapon?
We don't know at this point.
Okay.
After we don't know if there's a weapon in the car or not. The weapon he was using was the car itself when he tried to run our guys down. When you do that, and there's guys standing there with guns, and you're going to try and run him down, you're going to get shot. And if he would have broken out, he would have went right into 4 or 5 lanes of traffic out here. So they weren't about to let him get out of there. He was a menace.
The other people that were hit with their cars, are they okay?
Yes. There are 3 or 4 other cars hit and 2 other separate small accidents, and nobody's transported to the hospital. It's just property damage.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Beautiful. Thank you.
What's your name?
My name's Ryan Medford. I own the original Pancake House here in Puyallup.
What did you see today?
I was up on the roof unclogging a drain, and I heard a big car spin out. I was waiting for a crash, assuming there was an accident on Meridian, and then I heard about 10 gunshots and dropped, so I didn't know where they're coming from, and then ran into my store and kind of poked my head out, and I saw about looked like about 10 15 police officers just at gunpoint pointing at something, and I came out and saw the car in the ditch, and then I took off for home pretty quick because I didn't know what was going on.
And do you own the Pancake House?
I do own the Pancake House.
You own the Pancake House.
Yes.
How does that make you feel, having that happen right in front of your store?
It was, I was pretty shaken up for a few minutes. I went home and I had to sit down and talk to my wife, let her know what happened, and I'd never heard gunshots that close to me before. And so I was pretty shaken up a little bit.
Have you sent all your employees home?
Luckily, we closed at 2 o'clock, and it happened at like 3. And so I was just closing up shop, getting ready to go home anyways, but I had to take care of a problem on the roof. And so I was up there when I heard the gunshots, so it sounded like they were right next to me, which was a little crazy.
A little too close for comfort,
A little too close for comfort.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.